raw food psychological success tips from the 100% pure elitist raw foodist fruitarian. Just going to wear that for no reason. You got to I think you've got to have no excuses. You've got to develop a kind of no excuse policy. And I know the word excuse is like a bit insulting, but that's how you kind of have to view it. You have to go, no, this is an excuse. This is not a legitimate reason anymore. And Melissa Mixed Up, you may see her on 30 Bananas a Day or Facebook or whatever, and she has a blog, Get Your Fruit On, and she put a recent post up saying that, you know, she didn't really agree with the idea of, well, I don't know if she didn't fully agree with the idea of a backup, but she was saying that when she was in transition to raw and still eating cooked food, that when she ate cooked food, it was never because she had to, it was because she, you know, she was never in a position where she had to. It was always kind of like she hadn't planned, or she was too lazy, or she was just making a decision. And that's the case with myself. You know, when I was transitioning, there was never realistically a time when I couldn't have got fruit. You know, honestly, I understand that there's probably some people that they've got zero money in their bank account and they have potatoes in the house and they don't have fruit. You know, I'm sure there is situations like that. But even then, there's ways to hustle. You know, if you're, I always think you could probably, you know, people would happily give you fruit. You know, if you went to someone's door, and I know that people don't want to beg, you know, but if you went to people's doors and you went, you know, I'm trying to be 100% raw food diet and I want some fruit, do you have any fruit that you're not eating? The majority of your friends and family and people, they'll be like, yeah, we've got like an entire bowl of fruit that we've got no intention of touching, that is purely in our house for display purposes alone, you know. There's so much like uneaten fruit out there. Harley used to, on 30 Bananas a Day, Harley used to actually, it felt like he was telling people to steal fruit if they couldn't buy it. I don't know if that was what he was actually saying, but it was almost like he was going, brah, I used to go into the supermarket and just start eating fruit. And then if anyone said anything, I'd just say, I've got an allergy and I have to test things before I eat them or something. I can't remember. It was some story like that. And Jason Kvestad, a crazy guy from Woodstock, like the blonde-haired Mad Hatter White Rabbit character, who's now in Ecuador, like starting some kind of Ecuadorian fruit community or whatever. Really lovely guy. But he did a video where, the reason I went up to speak to him at the fruit festival was because he did a video on YouTube where he stole fruit from a supermarket. He went into a supermarket and filmed himself putting like a trolley full of fruit and then walking out with it. And then when I spoke to him at the fruit fest, he was like, no, it's just a joke. It wasn't real. It was just like a fake video. I'm not 100% convinced in that still, but you know, I don't know why I started talking about that. Anyway, where the hell was I with this? Like, why have I started speaking about Jason Kvestad? So I'm gonna guess that I started this video about raw food psychology. Yeah, we'll get back to that. So Ironclad Ben made a video about it, and he's inspiring me at the moment a lot, and he is making some videos about raw food psychology and his own thoughts towards it. And I think this is maybe a problem with the divide in the community at the moment. That the raw people can't allow themselves any excuses. You know, the idea of a backup plan cannot even be in your mind if you want success with this. That is the truth. If you want to go 100% raw, backup plan is out the window. And when people say what's your backup plan? There is no backup plan. You make sure that your plan A is available to you at all times, and that's it, you know. And the truth is, it is. The weird thing I was thinking about today was that the people, how did I put this? The people in the world, when people say they can't afford the fruit diet, the people in the world who literally can't afford, who literally have the least money, they're already on the starch diet. You know, the poorest people in the world are already in the starch diet, but you're not as poor as them. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can devote a bit more of your income to fruit, probably. And there's people out there that have kids and do this with kids and do this with, you know, you can see like Danny Rose's videos. He's got his family's raw. There's various people that are doing this with a family as well, you know, and regardless of your, I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, but essentially this is I think that's it really. A backup plan is not available if you want to stay raw, and really, you can always go to the shop and get fruit. Do you know what I mean? If you're in a place where there's like no shops, I mean then it would be tough. But shops will have fruit. It won't be the best fruit ever, you know that. But I also don't think there's like magical fruit out there that's going to turn you raw. I don't think that's the case. I don't think there's some kind of magical, organic, sugary, super hyper good fruit. I think now and then you get you get some amazing fruit, and it changes your whole attitude because you're like, that's how good it could be. But it's not going to be like that all the time. You just kind of have to face it. What else was I going to say about this? That's probably enough for now, you know. So, I don't like the idea that my problem is that people are nurturing the belief that there's a need for a backup plan, and that backup plan has to involve starches, potatoes and grains and things. My feeling is that it doesn't. Your backup plan doesn't need to involve those things, and there is a level down from whole, fresh, ripe, raw, organic fruit and vegetables that is not cooked starches, and it is in that line between pasteurised things and pasteurised juice and freezed fruit and dried fruit and all that, and none of those will take you back to cooked food. You know, you'll have those, and you'll quite easily go back to fruit. But going back to potatoes, you're gonna keep yo-yoing. Whereas the occasional pasteurised juice, that's kind of that. It doesn't. It seemed you just kind of go, this doesn't feel as good, you know. But you just have it for the moment. So, that's my feeling on that. There's been a lot of debate in some of my videos recently, which is good, and I want to extend the hand of friendship to all of you, and let's stay together. I think our focus should be fruit, regardless of 100% raw or anything. A lot of people say vegan is a big picture, but we're kind of beyond the point that we're trying to. None of us are struggling to stay vegan. Do you know what I mean? No one who's eaten just fruit and vegetables is struggling to stay vegan at this point. We're beyond that. So fruit is our focus. I think that's what unites us and keeps us together. We're healthy vegans. We're not just vegan. So anyway, that's my thoughts. Bye.